Do you guys know where the Hantavirus came from? Do you know where it originated? I'm talking about the strain that they're claiming came from the Andes area, the deadly strain on that cruise ship last week. I wish some of you guys could have watched my videos in 2021. There's a few of you that follow me that go back that far. You may remember when I predicted the war with Ukraine and Russia, the proxy war. I talked about the biolabs that would be found over there. And it was already in Pentagon documentation anyways. Of course, I didn't know that, but it's coming out now. And anyways, long story short, the Hantavirus, in my opinion, came from Ukraine. Because Ukraine had breakouts of the Hantavirus 4 months ago. And it's been confirmed. I also know that there were Ukrainian crew members that were put on that ship. And I always say, stick with your own old school gut intuition. Where did the Hantavirus come from regarding this cruise ship? Well, it was a test. It was a test to test the people's strength. That's what it was, for one. Two, it is a chemical. That's what a biolab is. And why not get on a cruise ship and let's try it there? Nobody can catch us doing it. It looks completely innocent, right? Y'all better wake the fuck up. Anyways, I'm not a know-it-all. I don't have all the answers, but I do know one thing. That Hantavirus came straight out of fucking Ukraine. And all the Ukrainian citizens who have not wanted to go to war, or the ones that aren't able to go to war, are the guinea pigs. All the Russian prisoners of war, I can guarantee you a lot of them have been tested. They are test tubes. I hope Putin is listening to me. Your prisoners of war, when you get them back, they have been probably tested on. It's very crucial. I'm at a loss of words, but I saw it coming, and I know other people did too. Just like Mr. Fauci. He's a murderer. He's a killer. Not just for COVID-19, but for HIV, later AIDS. You know, because you contract HIV first, usually. Then it goes into AIDS. And much more. I'm sure he's responsible for much more. And I'm sure he's in cahoots with those lab rats over in Ukraine. I can't imagine what those poor citizens of Ukraine have went through. And my heart goes out to them, especially them. Then you have Bill Gates, you know, the tick lover. Or could we say Gates of hell? By the way, there's a trial coming up for Fauci and Mr. Gates. October 22nd, 2026. You don't want to miss it. Fauci especially. And Gates, they're going to lose everything. That's my prediction. I think I should mention that these things haven't come out yet. But we know that Russia's had issues with cattle, cows, killing cows. But no one knows why this is happening, really. Other than maybe there's some type of illness. Well, they need to look a little deeper into the livestock of what's going on there. Livestock around the borders of Russia, Ukraine, possibly, I'm being shown injection there. The animals could be injected. People can cross over into the border on these farms, inject these animals, because a lot of the area and territory in these regions are farm areas, farms. Injections, needles, I'm being shown that. Livestock, decay, poison, mad animal disease, or they call it mad cow disease. I've heard of that here in the US, but there's something with that. They could start injecting birds. Let me say this, allegedly, not factual. What I believe and what I've been shown before everybody who's backed in a corner has a last attempt. And one of Zelensssski, one of the last attempts for Ukraine as they run lower out of weapons, men, etc., is to spread some type of biolab. You could say a chemical, you could say disease, virus, bacteria. Most of it's viral. Yeah, and something that would kill off population. And they've already tested this, again, on the men and women, most likely, but mostly military men, military-aged men is what I was shown. But there's something that could be very dangerous that would spread like the Hantavirus. I think the Hantavirus was a test, but they want to uptick it. And this is going to go directly right into Russia. They want to uptick it. So they may try to spray something or some type of chemical if you touch it, like a bacteria or viral. Again, I'm sorry, I keep saying bacteria for some reason, but it's viral. If you touch something on the ground, you catch it, it would absorb through your skin versus breathing it. Some way to absorb it quicker. And I'm seeing this happen. I do see this happening later. Possibly there's 2 timelines. Hopefully it doesn't happen and the war will end. But if he has his way, Mr. Z, his regime, and the people of the West who are supporting this war, this is what they're doing. They're supplying the money and funds for it. And this goes back longer than the Russia-Ukraine conflict. This goes back before Obama. Okay, but there's a chemical out there that is very similar to the Hantavirus. It works very similar, but it's even deadlier, and it kills you much quicker. And I think his regime may try that with Russian military. I'm already being told it's already been happening, but to actually shoot it into Russia, like, I know they're using drones, missiles, whatnot on both sides, but it could be somehow injected into like Moscow through the air using some type of drone or missile attempt. That's what I'm being shown. Now, again, there's 2 timelines. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I do believe that that's what I keep getting it on a drone. I keep seeing it. I keep seeing the drone, a white drone. It's really weird as I'm talking about it, just dripping stuff down into that area. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. And the problem is it will spread into Europe, the UK, and right here in the United States, even Canada, Australia, even China. I'm sure Mr. Xi won't be very happy at all, because it will be like on his border as well. This stuff will spread like wildfire. That's what I predict. And again, if it doesn't happen, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, and it may not. If they can nip this in the bud, Zelensssski he's already wagering court because he, for the money laundering, and his fall guy, is it Mr. Yarman from Ukraine, the guy who fled? He's the fall guy for Zelenssski. I think he fled to Israel. He did a lot for Zelenssski, and Zelenssski fucked him in the end. But does that surprise you? Okay, I need to get off of here. Be listening out the rest of 2026. I don't have a configurative timeline, but I see this could happen if things get real nasty. It could be the West, as in the ones who support this, the leaders, and mainly over in the Biolabs, like in Ukraine. This is like already been tested on people. The Hantavirus is very similar to that. It's connected to the Hantavirus, actually. It is connected to the Hantavirus. I'm not here to fear bait, but I don't sugarcoat what I have to say. If I'm going to have to hide from you all, then what's the point in coming on here? And this video is not going to be monetized. I already know that, and I'm not even going to mark it as monetization. I'm not. That's why I put the introduction of this video, and you read what it said. And if you are upset in any way, don't watch it. But if you've come this far, then we must be on the same page if you're watching it, right? We're on the same page. Again, I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but it could happen because there's 2 paths, right? One is ending the war, and 2 is what I just stated. And also, it's not going to be just something happening. It's going to be paper trails, funding trails. And another big thing that's going to come out at some point after the war or right before the ending of the Russia-Ukraine war, there's going to be information, because I'm seeing things being moved, okay, in crates. And this has already happened. I see things that were moved into another location. Things have been relocated. Bio information, chemicals, lab testing, the material itself, paperwork. This stuff has been moved into a different area. The capital of Ukraine, you most likely will find it. And it's going to be the capital of Ukraine. That's where you're going to find these things. That's going to come out. I do believe that's going to come out. Be sure you give me a thumbs up when it does, and, you know, remind me, because I will forget. Okay, guys, last but not least, when it comes to the Ukrainian elections, they are supposed to take place August 2nd, 2026. However, they should have happened last year, but due to the war and their policy over in Ukraine, Mr. Z, he was able to extend his time in power until August 2nd, which is supposed to be elections, etc., whatever, I don't know. I don't see elections in August of 2026. I see a push out. I don't even see them in September or really the first part of October. I'll be listening out in November of 2026 through the first part of 2027 for voting. How interesting. Okay, so if he can survive, because I already told you his fate is rocketing, he may extend power a little longer. And also, as I was sitting here doing these little short videos, I kept thinking about what I had spoke on about the Biolabs and drones going into Russia. I believe Russia is already aware of this. And I think they are working with certain countries in the West and even China. So this could possibly, I think we're going to hear about it. Either way, we're going to learn of something like this down the road at some point. I believe that. And it's possible that it can be stopped. But we're going to hear about it. All right, guys, please hit the like button, share, subscribe, hype the video if you can. I need your support in order to get these videos out. I do this to help you, not to kill time, because believe me, my time is very tight right now with everything going on. But I do love you all, and thank you for your support, and I will see you soon.